Have you ever tried cutting carbohydrates to lose weight and still felt like the results never matched the effort? Maybe you stopped eating bread, pasta, or rice, followed the diet strictly for a few weeks, and yet the scale barely moved. Or perhaps you lost a little weight at first, only to hit a frustrating plateau that made you question whether diets even work anymore. What if the real problem was never carbohydrates themselves? For years, carbohydrates have been treated like the main villain in the story of weight gain. Many popular diets teach that the fastest way to lose fat is to eliminate carbs almost entirely. And while reducing certain types of carbohydrates can sometimes help, the truth is much more nuanced than that. The reality is that many people cut carbs completely, struggle with constant hunger, low energy, and cravings, and still don't achieve the results they expected. And when that happens, it's easy to assume the problem is lack of willpower or discipline. But very often, the issue isn't the carbohydrate itself. It's how that carbohydrate is consumed. To understand why, we need to look at what happens inside the body when we eat carbohydrates, especially when they are eaten alone. When you eat a carbohydrate-rich food by itself, like a slice of white bread, a bowl of pasta, or a sugary snack, your body digests it relatively quickly. This leads to a rapid rise in glucose, which is the sugar circulating in your bloodstream. When blood sugar rises quickly, the body responds by releasing insulin. Insulin is a hormone that helps move glucose out of the bloodstream and into cells where it can be used for energy. But when glucose spikes very rapidly, insulin levels also rise sharply. And when insulin is elevated, the body becomes more likely to store excess energy as fat. This doesn't mean carbohydrates are automatically harmful. It simply means that the way they are consumed can influence how strongly this process occurs. The good news is that small adjustments in how you eat carbohydrates can dramatically change how your body responds to them. The first powerful adjustment is combining carbohydrates with protein and fiber. When carbohydrates are eaten together with protein or fiber-rich foods, digestion becomes slower. Instead of glucose rushing into the bloodstream all at once, it enters more gradually. This helps reduce sharp spikes in blood sugar and insulin. Fiber also plays another important role. It increases satiety. When meals contain fiber and protein, people tend to feel full for longer periods of time. This naturally helps reduce overeating later in the day. Imagine eating a piece of white bread by itself. The body digests it quickly, and hunger may return sooner than expected. Now compare that to eating bread together with eggs, vegetables, or avocado. Suddenly the meal becomes more balanced. The digestion slows down, the glucose response is more controlled, and the feeling of fullness lasts longer. The same idea applies to many everyday meals. Instead of eating a bowl of rice by itself, combining it with beans, vegetables, and a source of protein can make a significant difference in how the body processes that meal. Even simple snacks can benefit from this approach. A piece of fruit combined with yogurt, nuts, or seeds can create a much more balanced metabolic response than fruit alone. But there is another adjustment that many people overlook. Avoiding isolated carbohydrates late at night can also help stabilize metabolic responses. In the evening, many people naturally become less active. Energy demands decrease, and eating large amounts of carbohydrates by themselves, especially refined ones, can lead to larger fluctuations in blood sugar. This doesn't mean carbohydrates should never be eaten at night. The key again is balance. For example, eating a bowl of pasta alone late at night may lead to a rapid glucose spike. But if that same meal includes vegetables, protein, and fiber, the overall impact on blood sugar becomes more stable. These combinations help the body process nutrients more gradually and efficiently. And now comes one of the most surprising strategies of all, something that many people have never heard before. The order in which you eat your food can also influence your blood sugar response. Yes, simply changing the sequence of foods in a meal can reduce glucose spikes. Research suggests that starting a meal with fiber-rich foods, such as vegetables or salads, can slow down how quickly the rest of the meal is absorbed. After that, eating protein sources like chicken, fish, eggs, or legumes further stabilizes digestion. Then, consuming carbohydrates last leads to a smaller rise in blood sugar compared to eating them first. So instead of starting a meal with bread or rice immediately, the sequence could look like this: vegetables first, protein second, carbohydrates last. Imagine sitting down for lunch and beginning with a salad or vegetables. Next, you eat your source of protein, such as grilled chicken or beans. Finally, you eat the rice or other carbohydrate on the plate. This simple adjustment can make a surprisingly large difference in how the body handles glucose. And the best part is that none of these strategies require extreme restrictions. They don't require eliminating entire food groups or following complicated meal plans. They simply involve understanding how foods interact with each other inside the body. Let's imagine what this could look like in a normal day. For breakfast, instead of eating carbohydrates alone, you might combine oats with yogurt and seeds. This provides fiber, protein, and healthy fats in one meal. At lunch, you could begin with vegetables, followed by a protein source, and then add rice, potatoes, or another carbohydrate. For a snack, pairing fruit with nuts or yogurt helps balance the meal and slow the release of glucose. These small changes might seem simple, but they can significantly improve how the body responds to food. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to lose weight is believing that a single nutrient is the enemy. In reality, the human metabolism is far more complex. Completely eliminating carbohydrates may work temporarily for some people, but it often becomes difficult to maintain long-term. On the other hand, consuming large amounts of refined carbohydrates in isolation can create frequent glucose spikes that make weight management harder. The real solution lies somewhere in the middle. When carbohydrates are consumed in a balanced way, combined with protein and fiber, eaten in a thoughtful sequence and integrated into balanced meals, they can absolutely be part of a healthy eating pattern. Understanding these principles gives you more control over how your metabolism responds to food. Instead of constantly cutting foods out of your diet, you begin to work with your body rather than against it. And perhaps the most empowering realization is this: weight management isn't only about what you eat. It's also about how you eat it. Small adjustments in food combinations, meal timing, and the order of foods can create a more stable metabolic environment. Over time, that stability can make healthy eating feel easier, more sustainable, and far less frustrating. So if you've been struggling with diets that focus only on removing carbohydrates, it might be time to rethink that strategy. Because sometimes the key to progress isn't eliminating a food. It's learning how to use it more intelligently. And now I'm curious, have you ever noticed how different foods affect your hunger or energy levels depending on how you combine them? Let me know in the comments, because your experience might help someone else discover a smarter way to approach their own nutrition.